Okay, so you've done it. You have spent weeks, maybe even months, pouring everything into building an incredible prototype. You've coded, you've designed, you've tested, but now comes the final and honestly the most crucial step, actually presenting it. This is the moment where all that hard work either gets the spotlight it deserves or just kind of gets lost in translation. And that right there is the million-dollar question, isn't it? A brilliant product with a not-so-brilliant story, well, it can fall completely flat. So that's what we're going to tackle, how to craft a presentation that really does your prototype justice.
First things first, we got to get one thing straight. Your presentation materials, they aren't just an add-on or an accessory to your prototype. Nope, they are a critical part of the project itself. It's the frame for your masterpiece.
You know, there's a fascinating bit of psychology at play here. It's something called the halo effect. When your materials, your slides, your handouts look professional and clear, your audience, without even realizing it, applies those same positive traits to everything you've done. Your prototype, your research, the whole shebang. It builds this instant credibility before you even show off the first feature. It's powerful stuff.
So what are we really trying to do here? Well, a great presentation has to hit these 5 key goals. You've got to clearly communicate the why, the whole purpose of the thing. You need to walk everyone through your design process, show off the smart improvements you made along the way, and of course, highlight the absolute coolest and most important functions. All of this comes together to tell a professional and, frankly, a really compelling story.
All right, let's get practical. How do you actually build that narrative? Every great presentation, every great story is built on a rock-solid foundation, a core message that holds everything else up. And that foundation is built with these 3 essential story blocks. You start with the problem. Simple, right? What pain point are you actually solving for someone? Then, you justify your design decisions, the why behind every choice you made. And finally, you highlight the key features that directly attack that problem you started with. You nail these 3, and your story is going to have a clear, logical, and really persuasive flow.
Now we get to what I think is the most powerful part of the entire story, showing the journey. See, it's not enough to just show up with the final polished product. You have to show how it evolved, especially based on feedback from real people. And this brings us to a really cool concept called iteration depth. This isn't just about changing a button color or fixing a typo. No way. This is about showing significant, thoughtful progress. It proves that you listened, you learned, and you adapted your design based on what your users actually needed and told you.
And this slide? This shows the absolute best way to demonstrate that depth. A simple before and after comparison is just incredibly effective. On the left, you can show the early version, maybe it was a bit clunky, and on the right, you have the sleek, streamlined final product. You can literally point and say, see this confusing menu? It became this streamlined user flow. And even better, you can tie it to real data. User testing showed task completion time dropped from 20 seconds to 5 after this redesign. That is concrete, undeniable proof of progress.
And here's the kicker. You have to connect those changes directly to user feedback. Using a real quote, even an anonymous one like this, is a total game changer. It's no longer just you saying your design is better. Now you have a real user confirming that your choices solved their problem. That's what you call powerful. Okay, so we've got our story down. We know the narrative. Now we've got to package it correctly. Let's talk about the design of your actual slides and materials, because believe me, how they look and feel matters a ton. Your materials really need to stand on these 3 pillars. First, be concise. Get straight to the point. Nobody wants to read a giant wall of text on a slide. Second, make them visually appealing. Use clean design and good screenshots to support your story, not distract from it. And finally, make sure everything is well organized. You want to guide your audience smoothly from one idea to the next without them ever feeling lost. All right, on to our final point. And honestly, it's maybe the most overlooked benefit of this whole process. The act of creating this presentation, it isn't just for your audience. It's an incredibly powerful learning tool for you, the creator. So here's the thing. As you're building your slides, it forces you to take a step back and look at the big picture. You have to spell out your process, you have to justify your choices, and you have to analyze your outcomes. This act of reflection, it's a profound learning experience all by itself. And this table here just breaks down that impact perfectly. Through reflection, your own understanding of your project gets so much deeper. You really see what worked and why it worked. You also can't help but recognize what still needs improvement for the next version. And for your audience, seeing this level of thought demonstrates a professional maturity that builds just a massive amount of credibility.
And at the end of the day, that's the ultimate takeaway. A thoughtful, well-crafted presentation is the thing that elevates all your hard work. It transforms it from just a class project into a truly professional showcase that commands respect and attention. So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about for your own work. If you could only tell one single story about your prototype, one problem it solves, one journey of improvement, what would that story be? Figure that out, start there, and you will absolutely be on your way to a brilliant presentation.